Right, the last section that we're going to cover for operations is section 4.6 about exponents, and then we'll practice order of operations with fractions. And you might want to get some extra scratch paper for these. I tried to give you lots of space, but these sometimes take up a lot of room. So we'll go through exponents first, and then we'll take our time through order of operations. So exponents, just like integers, 1/2 to the third power means 1/2, times 1/2 times 1/2. So it's 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1, over 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So the answer is 1/8. 1/3 to the second power means 1/3 times 1/3. 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 3 is 9. Just remember it's top times top, bottom times bottom. -3/5 to the second. Let me give myself some room here. It's -3/5 times -3/5. A negative times a negative is a positive, so it's going to be 9 over 25. No more negative. 9 over 25. 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times 5, 25. Draw another line here. So this is 1/2 to the third power, which normally you would work it out, but we've already done that. It's 1/8 times 1/4 to the second power, which is 1 over 16. So 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 4 is 16. So this is 1 over, and then either on your scratch paper or where you have space, multiply 16 times 8. 48. It's 128. So exponents with fractions sometimes make the denominators or the numerators really big. And you just work it out just like you would with integers. Not too bad. The last part of this is the order of operations with fractions. We have to work very slowly and very carefully through these, and you might want extra space for each one of them. Anytime you get to a problem that has multiple operations involved, it's always a good idea somewhere on your page to spell out PEMDAS, and remember that multiplication and division happen at the same time, left to right. Adding and subtracting happen at the same time, left to right. So when we get to this first problem, there's 1/3 minus 5/9 times 3/4. The parentheses do not have an operation inside of them, so it's just multiplication. There are no exponents, so we're going to do our multiplication or division first, which is 5/9 times 3/4. And I tried to give you lots of space to work. You might want to divide up your space so you don't get lost. Divide up your space at the bottom too if you want to. Alright, so we're going to leave the 1/3 alone, leave the minus alone. We can actually cross-reduce this right now and change the 9 to a 3 and the 3 to a 1 if you want to. Otherwise you'll have to reduce later. This becomes 5 over 12. So now we have 1/3 minus 5 over 12. In order to subtract, we need common denominators. So we're going to multiply this guy by 4 over 4 to make 4 over 12 minus 5 over 12. 4 minus 5, we can do keep, change, change. So we're really combining everything we've learned. And we should get -1 over 12 as our final answer. So each one of these is going to take a lot of work. That's why I only put a few of them on here, because each one is very intensive and it tests all your skills kind of at the same time. Now we have -3/4 plus 1/2 divided by 2/3. Try to get that glare off. So no parentheses. We have an addition operation and a division operation. Division comes first. So we're going to ignore the -3/4 plus. Remember, for division we do 1/2 stays, change the division, and flip the fraction. Then we'll do the multiplying. Negative 3/4 plus, this would be 3/4. 1 times 3, 2 times 2. So it's negative 3 plus 3, which is 0 over 4. 0 over 4 is just 0. That doesn't happen very often, but sometimes they will work out that way. Moving right along. This time we have 1/3 divided by 5/7 times 2/3. So the only operations are division and multiplication, and we go left to right. So we start with 1/3 divided by 5/7. So I'm going to change that division and flip that fraction to 7/5. That gives me 7 over 15 times 2 over 3. Then we'll multiply, this is 14 over 45, which does not reduce. So it's very tempting, we've talked about this, to do the multiplication first because your eyes are drawn to the parentheses. But if there is not an operation inside the parentheses, we do not do that first. If division's to the left, we do the division, then the multiplication because we go left to right on each step. So multiply or divide left to right. Very carefully. The last two are a little bit more involved. Try to give you lots of space here. We kind of scan the problem and use the order of operations to tell us what to do first. We're scanning. Here's parentheses. There's an operation of addition inside them, so you might want to write off that step just by itself. We have a 3 and a 6. We need to make common denominators. So we're going to multiply this guy by 2 over 2. So like I said, this gets a little messy, and it never hurts to have some extra just plain white paper just in case. So we'll see here. Negative 4 over 6 plus 1 over 6. That makes negative 3 over 6. And if it can reduce, go ahead and reduce so that it's less to work with. So what we've done is just focused on the operation inside parentheses, made common denominators, added them together, and reduced. So now I'm going to rewrite the whole problem here. Negative 3 over 8 plus 2/3, and I just figured out that inside the parentheses makes negative 1/2. From there we do multiply or divide, and we have a multiply. The multiplication can be cross-reduced, so I'm going to divide those 2's and make them 1's. If you don't see that, it's no big deal. You can work with it later. So we have negative 3 over 8 plus negative 1 over 3. So between 8 and 3, we need to think of a common denominator, which would be 24. So this one needs to multiply by 3 over 3. This one needs to multiply by 8 over 8. This might be going a little too fast for you. If this is going too fast, pause the video, take a minute, start the video again. And I'm not trying to go too fast, I just kind of get on a roll. So if it's going too fast, just stop, rewind, maybe you need a break, and then you can start watching it again. That's what's super nice about these videos. So we have negative 9 over 24 plus negative 8 over 24. Negative 9 plus negative 8 is negative 17 over 24. You might end up with bigger numbers and have to reduce down to this. So I went ahead and reduced this right away, and I cross-reduced. And that kind of helps with your final answer, because these can get really out of control really fast. So you take your time, you follow the order of operations one thing at a time. You use as much extra paper as you need. Let's look at this last one. I'll slow down here. We go for the parentheses first. We see 3 over 1 minus 3 over 5. We always put integers over 1. Because it's subtraction, we need common denominators. We have a 1 and a 5, so we're going to make 5. Multiply this guy by 5 over 5. I'm ignoring all of this for now, just focused in the inside. 15 over 5 minus 3 over 5 makes 12 over 5. You can use keep change if you need to. We have 12 over 5. That cannot be reduced, and now we're going to put it back into the rest of the problem. 12 over 5 minus 1 over 6 times 12 over 5. The next piece of the order is multiply or divide. So we're going to skip over this. We have 12 over 5 minus. I'm going to cross reduce the 6 and the 12. So you look for that cross reducing. Anytime you're multiplying, you cross reduce. You cannot cross reduce with add or subtract. But if you're multiplying, you cross reduce. That would be 2 over 5. So it's 1 times 2 and 1 times 5. Well, lucky for us, because we cross-reduced, these guys match now. And we end up with 10 over 5, 12 minus 2. Again, you can do keep change if you'd like to. 12 minus 2 is 10 over 5, which reduces to just plain old 2. So you work one layer at a time. Some students even like to label what they're working on and which step they're on. So I had a student that did a really good job of this a couple semesters ago. He would write, all right, I'm working on parentheses first. And there's what I have left in my parentheses. Now I'm working on multiply. And now I'm working on subtract. He would number, I did this first, then I had to do this, now I've got this, and now I'm here. So you just work it, number it, layer it, whatever you need to do to make sure that you can follow your steps. We'll do a lot of practice with this in class, and then we'll take a quiz over fractions at the end of class.